I remember that some years ago, it might have been even 10 years ago, I read a story at some point, an article about a surfer, a guy, which was surfing in the ocean. And somehow, I don't exactly remember how it happened, but a storm of sorts or something happened. No, I think what first happened is that the guy, the waves, drifted him in further into the ocean. And somehow the waves that were produced at that moment because of the winds and the weather conditions, because a storm was approaching, made it that he was trying to swim its way back to the beach, but with no avail almost. Nothing would happen because the wind currents and the waves that were in the ocean at that moment somehow prevented him from being able to return to the shore. So a storm was approaching, and he was trying to scream and to get people's attention, to get somebody to notice him, because he was way, way, way into the ocean. He probably wasn't even visible from the shore anymore. But he was waving and he was trying to get somebody to notice him, to come and to save him. And the story, why I remember it to this day and why it impacted me, it's because what happened next is like the storm was approaching. And at some point the guy, because the story was retelling his experience, what he went through, and at some point the guy realized that there's nobody coming to save him and that he has to do it himself. And after he tried, for 20 minutes or something, 30 minutes, I don't know, to get somebody to notice him, to scream, to wave, to do something, to be noticed, I remember that he mentioned that at some point this realization, dawned upon him. It's like this realization sank. It's like, no, there's nobody coming. And I remember that he mentioned that in that moment when he accepted and realized this fact that nobody's coming, is like an unexplainable peace and calmness washed over him. And all of a sudden he realized, like, well, I am all that I have right now. And it's like, it's only in my force right now to try to get back to the shore and to save myself. So somehow he put through that calmness, through that complete devoid of emotions and fear anymore. He had no more fear at some point. I remember this. And I remember that after he accepted his situation, after he accepted he was in the middle of the ocean with nobody coming and a storm, a really high storm approaching, that somehow he managed to find a way. I don't remember exactly how he did it, but he found a way and made it back to the shore. Alone and on its own. So I remember this story because it impacted me profoundly when I first read it. And I tried to find that article through the years, but I couldn't find it anymore. But I remember the story of this guy who was drifted into the ocean and tried to signal to somebody to come and to help him, to save him. But, oh, I had to interrupt the video a bit because a neighbor came with some food for the cat. So this story impacted me profoundly when I heard it, and I remembered it over the years. And I think somehow I've always went back somehow to this story in myself. Many times when I found myself in this reality, feeling like there's almost no true help coming from any place, anywhere. And realizing that even though it's hard to accept this, it's really, really hard. I think I am somehow mostly by myself. And somehow in all this process, there might be nobody truly coming. Because I've constantly waited for something, usually for someone to come, and help me remember myself. This was the most prominent thing that I felt I need to achieve. It's self-memory, my true memory of myself and my true purpose. So I constantly felt since I was a child that I have to meet with somebody, and when I meet with this person or these people, somehow they would be able to make me remember. Like just meeting with him, her, or them, just by meeting with this person or these people, I would be able to instantly remember. Something in me knew that this is possible, that I just meet with somebody, just see that person, that I don't even need to talk with the person. But just the encountering itself would make me instantly remember, like something I would remember instantly when I would see this person. So it's like, since I was a child, I remember kind of knowing that I have to meet. Somebody is going to come at some point. This is what I believed since I was a child. That I believe there is no death and there is no such thing as dying. But at some point, I am going to be met by somebody which is just going to meet me like an ordinary, almost human being. But when I see that person, it just either it taps me on the shoulder or it says something, or it just by seeing this person, it just the click happening in my head, and I'll instantly remember myself. Or something is just like ending a game. When I see this person, it just, oh, I remember. Oh, I know now who I am. I know my purpose. I know what I have to do, And I just had this sensation, this striking sensation, since I was a child. And the idea is that this sensation was kind of deeply unconscious as well. And it made me constantly try to search, try to be on the lookout for this person, let's say. Unconsciously most of the times. So I've kind of unconsciously waited and waited and waited for somebody to come. But I think what I'm realizing lately is that maybe there's nobody coming. Nobody in the way that I need is coming, perhaps. So lately, I just started to accept it. I started to accept that maybe, indeed, there's nobody truly coming in the way that I need. the person that I truly need, it might never come. So I am, in a way, that guy in the middle of the ocean, which lately, that type of peace and understanding kind of started to settle over me, that nobody is coming, and I am on my own. I am on my own, and I might just need to figure this out, this entire reality and my existence here on my own. Because there is nobody coming. And after I started to allow this realization to sink in, wash over me more and more, it's just an undescribable sense of power started to be felt. It's undescribable because it's impossible to describe it. How I can feel more and more alive and almost like enthusiastic about my condition here, as much as I accept that there is nobody coming and I am on my own. It's like somehow now that I accepted this more and more, it's like I understand that there was always this power in me to be able to do this on my own. I don't know why I waited for somebody. Maybe it would have been preferred, and it would have been in a more natural way somehow, or in a type of designed script of sorts that I might have decided and agreed with as my options here. Or maybe it was just a facade, just an illusory script inscribed within me to basically delay me from what I am able to do on my own. Or maybe it's just both of them are real. Maybe there is something that I can do on my own, and at some point there is something that I can also achieve it by meeting with this person. That something in me knew I have to meet with. Again, for me it's like a person or a group of people. And sometimes it's both. It's a specific person out of a group of people, and it's that group of people and that person as well. So what I feel is like right now, it's from what I've experienced so far, I think for the true real beings which find themselves in this reality, from my experience, for some of these beings, I believe nobody is coming. And you have to, let's say, save yourself. And you have to remember yourself all on your own. You have to figure this existence out all on your own. If you try to go to teachers, if you try to go to gurus, if you try to go to books or even ancient writings, as valid as some of them might actually be, I believe that for some of us, I don't know how to explain it, but I think it's almost designed that nothing can truly help us. Even if we try to go into the most authentic ancient writings or authentic spiritual teachings, somehow even those ones are ineffective for us for some reason. And we are created and designed to achieve a certain realization, a certain power, a certain self-knowledge on our own. And it is only you that you already know instinctually, and as a instinctual nature and property of your true self, you know what you have to do. You just are waiting for something, and you're delaying what you might already know to do, and what you might, all the knowledge you might already possess, and all the power you might already have. You're delaying this moment in which you accept you are on your own. Just like the guy, the surfer in the ocean. He tried to ask for help, to wave, to scream, to make itself visible so that somebody is coming. I was that guy. And I think some of you were also that guy, consciously or unconsciously. And most of the times unconsciously, we've been doing this unconsciously. So, but at some point when that understanding washed over the guy that nobody is coming, it's then and only then that he actually felt the needed clarity and power to actually do whatever was needed to save himself. And he managed. He got to the shore eventually, and this is how he got to tell the story at some point later in the article, you know, when the article was written. So, some of us, I think we are like this. We are the surfer in this life, completely having tried to scream, to ask for help, to do whatever we were able to do to make ourselves noticed, to make somebody see us and notice us, and probably by having somebody see us, being able to come and to assist us, to rescue us, to save us in some way, to give us some guidance in some way. But even when we thought we found the so-called helper or savior or guide or teacher or whatever, something was always showing us eventually that something was unright about that direction that we found. And we never could truly feel completion, like complete, oh, this other person or this teaching or this book or this is exactly the thing that completely blew my mind and opened my entire psyche and basically revealed to me what I needed to have revealed in order to make a complete sense out of my entire existence. We never found this type of completion with anybody and any resource. So we continue to search and try to think that maybe at some point we are going to find the right book, the right person, the right whatever, you know. And I think exactly as I said, that for some of us, it's almost by design. The design is created that we have to do it on our own. And as much as if we even try to follow somebody, to follow a guide, to follow a book, to try to find a savior, a guide, a teacher, something, we are always somehow designed to fail in this attempt. And there is nobody truly coming for us. For some of us, at least. So at the point of this realization, when one realizes, oh, I am on my own, like truly, viscerally, with bones, blood, my entire psychology, everything that I am, from all the levels of myself, I am on my own. There's nobody truly going to comprehend me, my needs, who I truly am, and what I need to experience to recover myself and to make a sense out of my entire existence. Nobody is truly coming. I am on my own, and I have to figure things out. I have to revive in a way to see what I can do with what I innately have as both skills and knowledge. skills and knowledge that I might not know of right now, but they might be in me already, naturally. So I believe some of us, some of you as well, you might find yourselves in the same position in which you have extreme probable power and extreme knowledge in a way. It just lies dormant within you. And up until the moment when you accept, you are on your own and nobody is truly coming. Those powers and that knowledge might not have the sufficient, in a way, drive or momentum to come out of you. So it's only after, paradoxically, you accept being completely on your own, completely somehow defeated, if that makes sense. Only when you accept your ultimate defeat, I think that your true, real power and knowledge might have the room to start to surface naturally. Because I remember something about the story of the guy as well. I just remembered it now. I remember that at some point the guy said that he accepted dying. He accepted his faith. I remember now. That's how the story went. So he said, like, well, nobody was seeing him, nobody was hearing him, the storm was coming, the waves were getting larger, and he accepted, like, oh, I'm gonna die, this is how I die. And I remember he mentioned that he accepted his fate, he accepted he's going to die. And that's the moment, that after that moment when he accepted his death, he accepted he's going to die there, that peace washed over him, and that clarity of mind. And that's only after he accepted his death and found that clarity and peace, complete, devoid of any fear anymore, that he had then all of a sudden this surge of clarity and power to rescue himself. So it's only after he accepted his death. So I believe this is an extremely accurate example to use as a sort of metaphor for many of us which find ourselves in this position of being in this reality completely numbed to what we truly are, and knowing we have a purpose here that we do not remember, and we are feeling this intense feeling of dread that each day goes on wasted with not meeting this purpose and not completing what we have to complete and live here in this reality. So we feel like wasting ourselves day by day just by not knowing or completing our purpose and living our purpose here. So for some of us, which we feel that there is this purpose that we have to complete, and we've waited for something to happen so that we start living out this purpose, I think only after we accept our complete defeat, our true death in a way, the actual probable never being able to realize this purpose, and just accepting our complete defeat. I believe that only after we accept, as I said, that there is nobody coming to remind us of this purpose, there is nobody coming to help us revive ourselves and to meet and live this purpose. When we accept that there is nobody coming, and we are on our own, and we accept completely our own defeat and death, that's when this power that comes with this calmness and acceptance of our complete defeat and our complete death and complete, let's say, inability to meet and live this purpose out. So we just surrender completely to our own weakness, our own ineffectiveness, our own lack of true power. When we accept to die and be completely defeated, that's when, only after this moment on, I think this true power and peace, and this true peace and this true power that comes with this peace can start to wash over us, and all of a sudden we feel an unimaginable surge of true vision and clarity of what we have to do and how we have to do it. And it comes from an innate instinctual knowledge that already is within us. It just waits to be activated by this complete peace and acceptance of our own failure first. So this is what I felt to share today, that for some of us, I think there is no help, there is zero help, there is zero saving or guidance coming at all. And we have to remember ourselves and do what we have to do on our own. But this remembering ourselves and what we have to do and how to do it, I believe can only come after we accept our complete defeat and complete failure and death first. But this has to be a genuine experience. And life, from my experience, has a way to defeat us eventually. So it's just a matter of accepting the death that one is already in, because this life is already defeating us each day. We are like Prometheus on that cliff being eaten by the eagle each day. We die each day. So it's just a matter of accepting the death and the defeat and the failure that we are already living in day by day. There was nobody coming. Nobody came already. So you were on your own already. You suffered what you suffered on your own already. You were already defeated. You died so many times. It's time to accept your defeat. It's time to accept your own failure. It's time to accept your death. You are dead. There's no more dying than the death that we are already in. We are already dead. Like literally, I believe this is the afterlife. And we've died and we are dead right now. So it's just a matter of accepting our own true death, which is a literal condition in my opinion. We are dead. This is death. So it's just, you don't have to wait for a traumatic event or something to happen to accept your already existing misery and suffering and failure and death, because it's happening each day. You are already oblivious to what you truly are. You are already powerless. You are already weak. You have no idea of anything. You're living in a constant limbo all day long, not knowing who you truly are and what you truly are and what you're here for in this reality. So you're already at the lowest of the low conditions possible. So what you are up to right now, in my opinion, is just to accept this. Just to take some time, as much as you need, some weeks or months or years, to sink in to the actual horrible condition that you truly find yourself in, and to accept that this is a horror and you are in the most horrific condition that you could have ever been drawn into. You are already at the bottom of the bottomless pit. You are already on the floor, smelling the ground, completely, covered in the mud. You are already at the bottom. So it's time to realize the bottom. It's time to realize the horror that you are already living in, and the fact that probably nobody is coming for you to save you at all. And you are there in the bottom of the fountain, let's say, or in the bottom of the pit, or in the middle of the ocean. And what do you do now? Because the storm is approaching. So, what do you do now? So I'll end this recording by saying again that for some of us, I think there is zero saving coming. And for some time, we only have ourselves. And once we accept this condition that we are in, this hopeless condition that we are already in, and the storm is coming and we are in the middle of the ocean, and nobody sees us and hears us, and we've tried to signal ourselves, but nobody saw, nobody heard. At least nobody gave a response at all. So what do we do now? What do we do now? That's the question.